This is our 1975 CB400 that we did for season 2 of Cafe Racer TV. So we were featured on there with this bike. This started life as a 74 CB400. It was a basket case. If you saw the show, there was the motor was non-existent. I mean, she had been sitting in a junkyard or on the side of a road somewhere for God knows how long. And when we got her, we immediately decided that we were going to try and do a race-inspired bike from what we received, and that's what we ended up with here. So some of the things that you see right off the bat, the windscreen, the tank is definitely not Honda era for that era. So the windscreen, the fairing, and the tank were actually inspired from some Ducati 750 SS. It's kind of where they're from. These are aftermarket. They're not originals, but that's the look. The seat was one that I made here out of fiberglass by hand. There's a video on that as well. And I think everything ties in really nicely. But when we say race inspired, you obviously can't do race inspired without some performance mods, and that's exactly where we focused on this bike, was this motor. So this was a stock CB400 motor. We've since taken it and boarded out with Yoshimura pistons, titanium valves. There's a lot of other work inside that motor, high performance race cams. We took the old key and carbs out and gave her a nice brand new fresh set of CR29 race carbs. The exhaust system is a combination of a couple different things. The headers are, it's a Mac 4-to-1 system, and then we took a stainless steel reverse cone from our friends over at Cone Engineering. And what we end up getting with the motor modification, the carburation, and then this exhaust is what we feel is a real finely tuned racing machine. And if you saw the show, you saw the Boston brothers rode this bike. And I think what was real cool was at the end of the day when we got done shooting there in Little Talladega, they had been doing this for a couple of years, and they came up to us and said, "This is by far our favorite ride yet." So that was really cool. Thank you, Ben and Eric, for that. That was awesome. It made us feel real good. It was our first attempt at a race bike. Now, we don't race it, except up and down this road, but we think it came out pretty good. Again, just like my Thruxton, we also fitted these with some progressive suspension. Big fan of these guys. These were the original ones for the XR 1200. They're a little taller, but we wanted that stance on this bike anyway. So again, 970 piggyback gas charge, phenomenal suspension. What we did to the front, those are those are stock forks from a CB550, which we also put progressive springs inside. We put some stabilizers in this one as well, fork braces here. And what I did with this bike, because it was going to be race inspired and we thought we were going to actually put it on the track at some point, I fitted dual disc up front, which is rare for this era of bike. So what we have here is I actually have, these are Yamaha rotors. I used stock calipers from probably a 550 or 750, I can't recall, on both sides. But both of these rotors together actually weigh less than a single stock rotor that this bike came with. So that helped a lot. And braking is just phenomenal. You can actually end over with this bike now, the way it brakes. And again, that's really it. I mean, most of the work on this particular bike, as you can see, is the appearance, and then the motor is just a tremendous amount of work on that motor, and this thing really flies.